Hello, 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 hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Al Stock Trades. Late live, just was doing some studying. All right, guys, what's going on? Good morning. Got some more. Excellent, excellent. All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and do a couple things. So healthcare, Clover down 0.67, alignment down 1%, then up in the after hours. Clove, nothing really much in the after hours. Humana's down 2.49%. United got caught off guard, 2.95%. Given, them selling some weird real estate on the side and just really weird things. Maybe real estate, I haven't looked too much into it, but, it is what it is, right? It's having a horrible year. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and look at these videos here regarding healthcare and AI. And the title of the video is honestly, the stock doesn't make sense until it does, right? Palantir didn't make sense until now, right? NVIDIA didn't make sense until now, right? The Palantir stock is 148. It hit 150 for the first time. We called it out heavily in around the $6 region. We're like, this is it. You could see there. And then also, look at SoFi, SoFi, it dipped down again here, and we're like, hey, get involved, right? And, look into it, right? And then now it's $23 billion market cap. For your guys' education, if Clover was a $23 billion market cap, we would be at a $46 stock price. Yeah. So ultimately, guys, at the end of the day, we're all headed into the right direction. And ultimately, things don't make sense until they do, right? Until Wall Street said, oh my God, retail investors, oh my God, of course, AI and healthcare. Why didn't I think of that? Oh man, I got to get in on it. And this is going to help you basically paint a picture of where AI is going. OpenEvidence, guys, I went ahead and talked about it. I have access to it. Again, I use it, and it's pretty good. I can, go give an example on how to use it, but I guess we can say what's something that we can do evidence-based, oh, that's a good. This is a weird one, right? So let's see. I have a patient with low back pain greater than 6 weeks. What imaging modality should I get? So this is a funny one, right? 6 weeks is actually a good number because it's evidence-based. Usually if you have unresolved back pain after 6 weeks, you should be doing some things. So, and it pretty much cites it, right? For a patient with low back pain lasting more than 6 weeks, the American College of Radiology recommends MRI, lumbar spine without IV contrast. It's usually appropriate as the initial imaging modality, but only if the patient has persistent or progressive symptoms despite 6 weeks. Yeah. So that's pretty good, guys. I mean, and it goes ahead and it shows you the ACR appropriation, whatever the hell they call it, criteria. What do they call it? ACR appropriateness criteria. Yeah. And, you go ahead and look at the appropriateness and, you can look up on it here and read and learn more, right? So there's that. But the big thing that I wanted to basically talk to you guys about is we talked about OpenEvidence on this channel, and we talked about how Clover maybe should be utilizing it. Maybe they're making their own. But hey, you know what? Sequoia Capital just went in and said, hey, we're going to do $1 billion raise. And this guy pretty much just invented the company, right? So it's very clear kind of where we're headed in this AI infrastructure, right? If you would have spoken to physicians a long time ago, when I say a long time ago, I mean like literally a year ago, they would have told you that AI and healthcare is a bit wrong. It's tough. But now you're seeing a whole complete reorchestration, a complete restructuring of how healthcare is being delivered. In fact, there's a lot of family doctors now that are using AI to talk to patients to dictate their notes. Like we have a scribe, which is expensive. People that are interested in medical school, they can go ahead and scribe, and pretty much the doctor's talks and whatever, the scribe pretty much goes in and inputs what they said. But even then, the scribe doesn't understand the medical nuances and medical knowledge that, let's say, a medical doctor has, right? So, I find it interesting because if you really focus on this, guys, like right now, if I want to speak to a patient, there's these AI tools which I can go ahead, hit record, and then it goes ahead and, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I got some back pain. How long has the back pain been going for? Oh, it's been going for 6 weeks. Actually, now 10 weeks. Oh, yada, yada, right? And it takes all that information. Oh, what happened? Oh, I picked up something heavy and then I don't know, I just got this shocking pain going down my leg and I don't know what's going on, sir. I mean, I really don't know, sir. That's why I came to you. Yeah, okay. Well, have you taken ibuprofen? Yeah, but sometimes it helps and it doesn't, but it's more of like a weird, it's not like a pain, it's like a nerve pain. Oh, okay. All right, nerve pain. And what ends up happening, oh, okay, what's your past medical history? Yeah, I got hypertension. I take lisinopril 10 milligrams, so you get all this information, right? And then all of a sudden this AI takes it and it just says, hey, 46-year-old male with a past medical history of hypertension, right? On lisinopril, who has about 10 weeks of back pain after lifting something heavy and a reticular, in a, nerve, sciatic nerve-like distribution, et cetera, et cetera. And then what all that basically goes is it goes in and it integrates into your web-based application that you're using, whether it's Epic or Epic has been really on top of it, and it goes ahead and puts that in there, and then all of a sudden you can have this guy here or this type of technology to basically give you an assessment and plan and say, hey, we recommend doing this, this, and this based off of American College of Radiology, American College of Cardiology, et cetera, where the family medicine doctor has evidence-based guidelines, right? So I'm trying to give you guys this information in the background because a lot of you guys don't understand the healthcare side of things. And this is nice because it's really rare to find someone who understands healthcare, who's going to be a medical doctor, but also understands Wall Street, right? This is a really weird combination, and it's really tough to find, right? So I'm really happy that I'm able to kind of share with you guys this, right? All right, so we're pretty much talked about all these things. Now let me just take a few seconds here to talk about this. What the hell are you looking at? Okay. Some of you guys remember this, some of you guys don't. When I was a freaking kid, I hated this. I wanted to take the book and shove it up the professor's butt. I was really upset, guys. When I was learning this, I was like, what in the why? Why am I doing this? I find it so stupid. Like you have this, isosceles triangle theorem, right? And it's a 2-column proof, right? You have a statement and you have a reason, and you have to basically prove that, angle B is the same as angle C. And I'm like, okay, well, if I need to prove it, then I just need to go ahead and measure this, right? And if you're like wondering, why the hell are we talking about this? Well, we talked about short interest. We talked about how basically when a company goes from negative to positive operating cash flow, free cash flow, and net income, you ultimately basically get short sellers start to go down, right? Because it becomes a triple dragon and then the stock essentially rises up to new highs, right? And I did that by giving you the data, giving you the fundamental analysis, giving you the short data, doing the intrinsic value, and basically proving to you a proof, right? The problem is I used to hate these proofs, but really I found them now thinking about it. I realized that math has really helped me how to think, right? And it has helped me how to structure my mind. And it's how I would like you, for folks that join Lifetime Access, this is how I would like you to think, right? And when you go ahead and give me your thesis, for example, in the triple dragons, when you guys find those 10 baggers, I need you to go ahead and structure them like so. I know it's annoying, but hey, you want to be wealthy, right? You think this was easy, right? So let me give you an example, okay? So, AB line from A to B is the same as line A to C, right? And that's given. That's given by God, right? Right. So even you can. I used to hate this, guys. Okay, so the construct of a bisector of angle A. So every angle has one angle bisector, right? So if you look at BAD, angle BAD, right? And if you look at angle CA, so BAD, and CAD, it is the same. So we just proved that the degree of A from this section, A1 and A2, is the same because BAD is equal to CAD, right? Okay. Then you can argue and say, well, AD is equivalent to AD, and that's reflexive property. So you could basically say they share the same side. Okay. And then you can look at the triangle ABD is equal to ACD. And because now you're looking at this triangle is equal to this triangle, you can then say, well, if AD is equal to AD, then you can argue and say the angle of B is equivalent to the angle of C, which gives you this line. Okay? And I know that's like, what the hell are we talking about? But the whole point is we need to prove that angle B and C are the same. And to do that, you have to reconstruct the whole thing. Okay. Now, again, not a lot of people, there's a lot of people that basically say, I'm not good at math. That's them basically saying, in translation, I will be poor for the rest of my life. I'm willing to be in the bottom 50%. I'm willing to basically work like an NPC, right? That's them pretty much admitting the red flag, the white flag of defeat. Any case, this is how we were structuring this debate regarding, short data, fundamental analysis. The data is very difficult to argue against. That's why whenever you see dumbasses try to talk, it's easy to shut them down because they don't have this level of reasoning. So when they come at you, you can look at their reasoning and you can see they're like, well, A and this little T there, it looks like it's, well, hey, wait a minute. Why is there a W next to the T? I don't know. Why is that a spelling error? Well, I don't look at that triangle over there. They're stupid, right? And I hate to be mean, right? But when I talk to someone and they talk to me, I'm assessing their intelligence. I'm assessing how they think, how they break down problems in reality, right? So when you talk to me on the lifetime axis, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm like, please explain yourself. Can you please tell me more, right? And some people know they're full of shit and they don't basically talk, which is fine, right? And then people retract, which is okay. We're learning. But, again, if you expect to join this platform and not be pushed, then then go take your $2,000 or $3,000 and go and go to Las Vegas and go burn it in the toilet, right? I mean, how do you think we've made a lot of millionaires, right? So, look at the military. You think the military is easy, right? Look at surgery residency, et cetera, et cetera. You think that's easy? You want growth, you gotta fight for it. And why do I push you like this? Well, what did I tell you in the beginning of the year? Small caps and financials. Small caps are going to play in the latter half because of interest rates. And I also said Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin. Even though I'm not a crypto guy. If you look at my videos, I said in the beginning of the year, crypto is going to be a big winner this year, right? Because I was able to break this down. David Sachs is equal to AI and crypto. Okay, AI crypto connected to Clover, but also AI crypto connected to David Sachs, connected to Solana. Okay, all right. Solana, okay, David Sachs equals to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel supported Ethereum. Okay, etc. Okay, all right. Peter Thiel supported Trump and Trump 1.1, 1.0. Okay, David Sachs and Trump. Oh, Trump released coin. Again, you basically construct these ideas, and then Wall Street's full of shit. And now you see Wall Street titans consider a crypto pivot, more specifically in stable coins, right? And if you look at stable coins, Ethereum looks like the winner. It looks like it might be the winner, right? So, and then people are, surges 5%, right? So Ethereum is people looking at it, right? So, and I'm not saying to get in. I'm just telling you, this is I push this level of thinking so you can be better, right? Because if you think like this, it's harder. Trust me, it's harder. It's annoying. I don't think maybe women might find you attractive. Women like smart men, maybe. Women like, oh wow, he knows how to prove a isosceles triangle theorem, right? I don't know, right? Maybe you might get those nice, beautiful, nerdy girls. They're really crazy, right? But I'm joking, right? This at the end of the day, guys, nerds win. Nerds win, right? Nerds for life, right? Nerds win, right? Look at Bill Gates. Look at the high school jock that he probably was in his high school. At the end of the day, nerds win. If you structure your mind, you'll be able to structure your life. All right, so there's that. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let me go ahead and unshare the screen here and share the audio version. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay. Again, my apologies for being mean, but it's I'm trying to help here, right? So, okay.
Expansion of artificial intelligence in medicine is transforming clinical practices, but it faces regulatory.
I love how she talks, man. She's just like, she's so perfect.
Challenges as the FDA may classify these AI tools as medical devices. Joining us right now is Dr. Scott Gottlieb. He's former FDA commissioner, a CNBC contributor, and he's on the boards of both Pfizer and Illumina.
Oh, I didn't know. He's actually this guy's a doctor. I was gonna say this guy knows his shit really well. It looks like he knows, he's smart. It's very clear that this guy's been I was like, damn, this guy's. At first, I thought this guy has been in medicals. Like, this guy knows doctors, but apparently he's a physician. What's his specialty? His specialty is internal medicine. He completed his residency in Mount Sinai and practiced as a hospitalist. So this just shows you. It's impressive, right? Good. Excellent work. Excellent work. So this is good. I'm just looking at some things right now. So for folks that don't know this guy, I like to just go straight to the data. I don't like to beat around the bush here. So this guy here, Mr. Scott, I'm going to give you his insider trades, his latest holdings. And we've talked about this one. It's, Tempus AI, Pfizer. I don't know what this one is, but we talked about Tempus. We talked about how, they're about to become free cash flow and net income in the future, but, it's trading at around $10 billion versus Clover is, at free cash flow and is going to be essentially profitable soon. So, again, this guy has only 32,000 shares. So it shows you these and again, it's at 1.8 million, but again, like it shows you a lot of these doctors don't really have a lot of money, right? It's not really a lot, right? So what we're trying to basically teach you is how to be better than majority of folks that are educated, right? Because we got some people, like imagine if B-Rob was here, right? B-Rob is, shares are a lot higher, right? And B-Rob, I think of B-Rob as a countryman, right? So so this is really good to see. But there's that. But let's listen to what he says.
And Scott, I'm so curious about this because to me, this is the greatest promise of AI, the idea that we can work it into our medical system and get way smarter about all the research that's out there and maybe have better end results for patients. How close are we on that front? And what happens or what is happening right now on the regulatory front?
Well, I think we've largely achieved that front. I think AI can be incorporated into electronic medical records, and that's really what's at issue here. AI tools that would sit inside an EMR and electronic medical record and actually cull information from different streams of data. So clinical notes that a physician may write, radiology reports, lab reports, and try to do interpretation and provide some guidance to the physician about what a diagnosis can be, what a differential diagnosis is, what some potential treatment recommendations are. The physician's still in the loops.
Yes, that's a big thing. When he started talking, I'm like, differential diagnosis. I'm like, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about. That's exactly what we're looking at. And I'm curious to see why he hasn't invested in Clover yet. I probably should reach out to him.
They're still making the decision. The AI would be assisting the physician. What FDA is saying right now is that any AI tool that sits inside an EMR that culls information from different streams of data, so different sources.
And you tell me something, which AI software company sits inside of an EMR? Well, Clover Health counterpart, Clover Assistant, integrates into an electronic medical record system. EMR, right? That's what it stands for.
Like laboratory records and imaging results, and also provides the information in a time-critical fashion, or is so comprehensive that the physician's unlikely to form their own judgment. They're likely to take the results of the AI tool at face value. That would be a medical device, and that's antithetical to a law that was passed in 2016, the 21st Century Cures Act, which created this category of clinical decision support software. That was software that really provided interpretation and recommendations to the physician, but the physician was still in the loop. We put out guidance in 2018 that interpreted that law, that basically kind of expanded on those definitions. But then in 2022, FDA issued new guidance that basically upended the old interpretation and came out with this new one that basically stipulates that AI tools that would sit inside an EMR probably fall within the domain of being a medical device subject to FDA's regulation.
Here's my concern with it. We hear about the AI that's being used in some insurance companies, and that as
in some insurance companies, and okay, no, honey, not in some. You're talking about Optum. You're talking about United Healthcare. Sadly, she doesn't even mention Clover, but what the problems that she has with this AI has more to do with Optum rather than Clover, because Clover actually solves these issues. Please listen to what she says. I have a crush on you, and I'm sorry you let me down. You let me down, crush. You let me down.
a result, the doctors do get cut out of the loop. And, again, artificial intelligence is still only as good as garbage in, garbage out. If you,
sometimes the girls you have crushes on, they always hurt you the most.
You are an insurance company and you are trying to make sure you are getting the most out of Medicare payments or some other place that you're billing things, there's an incentive to force that AI or make that AI look for decisions that are not necessarily best for the patient's care. How do you make sure that the patient's care is what is first and foremost if you're dealing with AI decisions that maybe supplant what the doctor sees with his or her own eyes?
No. I mean, I agree with what she's saying. I'm just being funny. But I really would like you to really look into Clover, man, and because it's just, again, these people are all talking heads. They don't, like, I had to say this to her. It's just she only reacts when the market reacts. I say this with the biggest heart for this lady, but sometimes people have limitations in how they process data, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question of who's developing the AI tool and for what purpose. You're talking about AI tools inside healthcare companies that are making automated decisions about denials of claims by looking at medical records and medical information. I'm talking about tools that would be sitting inside the electronic medical records. So they're basically designed by the EMR providers that are in the business of trying to provide tools to assist clinical decision making. So
he pretty much answers her correctly. He's like, no, you're misunderstanding. I'm talking about clinical support tools that are inside the electronic healthcare record system. We're not talking about, cancellation of pre-authorizations. We're talking about things that help decrease medical cost. I know this guy knows about Clover, right? You'd be stupid to be in the position he's in to not know about Clover. I'm just really, I find this very interesting.
The insurance companies aren't on the back end of the design of these AI tools. And the bottom line is that the physician still ultimately is in the loop. The AI tool isn't automated. It's not making a decision on behalf of the physician. But you can think of an AI tool, for example, that interprets all the medical information that's available.
Doesn't that sound like Clover? It's at the point of care. It helps physicians, doesn't make decisions for physicians and healthcare providers.
In the EMR, and offers a physician a list of a differential diagnosis, so a list of potential options on what could be ailing the patient. If you go into ChatGPT right now and you put in clinical information, and I've done this, I've taken these vignettes out of the New England Journal of Medicine and put it into ChatGPT to generate differential diagnoses to test the aptitude of those tools. It generates a more comprehensive differential diagnosis and thinks of things that I think a lot of physicians probably would miss. So these tools do.
I agree with him. Yeah, I agree. I've actually helped it with my differential diagnosis. In fact, I was working with a very smart doctor. He was using it too. And this guy's a straight edge. This guy's good.
Who have the basis, who do have the ability to provide a more comprehensive set of options to physicians. Ultimately, the physician's in the loop.
And your recommendation would be that this regulation may take things too far and may stifle innovation?
Well, I think if you create regulations that prevent the AI tools from being incorporated, embedded in.
So the big thing here, guys, is the big discussion here. I wanted to kind of give you the thought process. Again, what am I doing? I'm analyzing this lady's thought process. Okay. And I hate to put my crush down. God, I hate to do this, right? I'm just teaching you how to critique people, right? I hate to do this because I have a big crush on her, but it's fine. Michelle, it's okay. You win, Michelle. You win, Michelle. You go. If you're watching me, don't kill me. But for real though, what my crush was saying is, well, first off, what Dr. Scott was saying is, These clinical support tools are going to basically be able to help doctors, A, B, A, C. And then what she said is, my crush, unfortunately, she said, well, what about that T over there with that W with, denying claims, garbage in, garbage out, right? Are you seeing the difference? What about that little triangle there? Right? And then the doctor said, wait a minute, we're not talking about that. Those are two different things. We're talking about clinical support decision-making tools that are embedded within the electronic medical. Are you starting to see how you can assess how people think? Right? Right? So honestly, to be quite honest with you, I might just end up having a crush on Scott because I think he's very good looking and very handsome. Dude, look at that jet black hair. Do you dye your hair, sir? I wish I had hair that black. Holy God. I think you're analyzing a lot more than her thoughts. Well, I try, she doesn't look look at her. She doesn't look too good, guys. She doesn't look too good right now. She's looking like, yeah, we're just going to skip this one, guys. Yeah. Anywho, her thoughts are not good. Right. So it's unfortunate. Right. Again, learn how to assess people's thoughts in terms of how they think, right? Don't look at how they dress. You can, right? But people do like a couple things. People they're one of three people, right? People look at the content of the character of the speech. That's me. I like to analyze what this person is saying. Are they full of shit? And it's, I feel like over time you get to understand this. It comes with experience. I used to have a hard time analyzing papers, and I still do because a lot of it's garbage, right? That's number one. Number two, other people look at how the people dress. Obviously she dresses really well, and but that's that's about it there. But and the other one is how they talk, right? Do they stutter? Do they whatnot? And if you can bypass those latter two and focus on the content of the speech, then you can get to some very positive things. Now let's go ahead and just switch gears to Kathy Wood here, and let's kind of figure this out.
ARK Invest is out with its big ideas of 2025. There are 11, all related to technology. Joining us now with more on her 2025 strategy.
Oh, and the title of this is the most underappreciated applications of AI is healthcare, right? You see how now all of a sudden people are starting to paint the picture of healthcare and AI? Interesting, huh? Let's continue.
And how tech could perhaps get caught in the crossfire.
Well, hold on. Let me just listen, guys. If you're expecting to make money by following the crowd, you're going to lose. You need to make sure you're there before the crowd's there. That's it. Let's go.
There are 11, all related to technology. Joining us now with more on her 2025 strategy and how tech could perhaps get caught in the crossfire of President Trump's trade moves. Kathy Wood, CEO and CIO of ARK Invest. Welcome, Kathy. Good to see you. I guess I would start by saying, for one thing, the market has seemed pretty captivated by a lot of these disruptive technology themes, whether it's the AI infrastructure build out.
I'm not going to lie. She kind of looks like an alien here. You can see she has those little rings around her eye. Guys, you can see this little rings here. And it's kind of funny because I think she has a ring light, but Kathy, you kind of look a little funny here. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kathy. You kind of look a little weird. Let me zoom in. So let me just kind of point this out because it's kind of weird, guys. Maybe I need to go to sleep, but that kind of, she kind of looks a little weird here, guys. She kind of looks a little weird there, I don't know. You look a little funny. But anyhow, let's go back to what you said. You see, now I'm looking at her. I'm analyzing before she even spoke. I'm analyzing her. I'm like, she's dressed fine, but those ring lights make her look kind of weird. But let's she's our new she's our new reaction in the Discord, right? You light up prior to the live. I light her up, literally. I light her up prior, before she even starts talking, right? She haven't even said anything. She hasn't even opened her mouth. She opened her mouth a little bit. And I'm like, hold on. All right, let's continue, guys.
Obviously, crypto has had an incredible run. Now, Tesla naturally has been on a roll in terms of excitement about autonomy and robotics. So what do you feel is left? What are the ripe ideas that you would like to be positioning for at this point?
Well, I think that the AI movement has just begun. And, we've been moving away from more hardware-centric tech infrastructure.
Okay, so first off, she's right. The AI infrastructure has just begun. I agree with her there. She called out this AI run back in 2018, folks that didn't know. So she was right. She just doesn't know how to invest. She picks really weird stocks that, I wouldn't pick, but I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to go after 10, 9 being garbage, 1 being a winner. And that pretty much basically the Peter Thiel power law algorithm is what she's doing. But she's about to basically say something that I've been basically saying for a long time. I'm going to repeat it before she says it, right? Remember how I told you? First, you want to invest in the infrastructure of AI, the chips, the GPUs. Then you want to look at the ontology integration setup of AI, which is Palantir, right? And then you want to go into the specifics of each industry, right? The Coca-Colas. What are the beneficiaries of the refrigeration companies, right? No one made money on the fridge. GE has a fridge. Samsung has a fridge. I got a Whirlpool fridge. You know what I mean, guys, right? But what companies came out of the refrigeration, right? The fridge you have in your freaking kitchen, right? Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola came out, right? And that's a $250 million business. So the question you have to ask yourselves is, what is going to be the next Coca-Cola? Well, first off, let's replace the fridge by using a large language model, right? So now let me go ahead and let's go back to the proof. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you the proof, right? If BAD, if a refrigeration business is equal to large language models, they are commodities, right? Every company now has a fridge. Whirlpool has a fridge. Samsung sells fridges. What else? GE sells fridges. You get what I'm trying to say? Okay, now let's go to large language models. Who sells large language models? Meta AI sells large language models. Llama, OpenAI. Microsoft has a large language model that they bought half of. OpenAI. Anthropic cloud, whatever you call it, has its own large language model. You have Google that created Gemini, which is large language model. You have Elon with X that he has created his own large language model. You have Alibaba, he created his own large language model. You have DeepSeek, they created their own large language model, etc., etc. Are you seeing that this is the refrigeration team? Are you seeing how I'm doing the isosceles triangle theorem and applying it to Wall Street, right? So the next level of order of magnitude is what came out of the refrigeration. Crafts, food, right? Fries, right? Coca-Cola. So what came out of large language models? Palantir, AI, but now we're arguing Tempus AI and Clover Health, et cetera, et cetera. Are you basically seeing the level of detail and the thinking and the stepwise regarding this beautiful isosceles triangle theorem and how to think? I'm teaching you how to think, right? Colleges, they give you a bunch of information and they hope to God that you learn how to think. But even the professors can't even think for themselves, right? I'm teaching you how to think, okay? Waymo versus Tesla. Again, I'm teaching you how to think, okay? When you learn how to think, you are free. A life not examined is not a life worth living, Socrates. When you learn how to think, you have conquered the world. So when you have a Trump or Biden come at you, you can pick through their bullshit and smell their garbage, right? All right, let's continue. Back to my alien Kathy Woods face here. Let's go.
Positioning for at this point?
Well, I think that the AI movement has just begun. And, we've been moving away from more hardware-centric tech infrastructure and so forth towards software. Palantir is a very expensive stock, but there's nothing like it in the software space. It is, we believe, going to dominate the biggest part of the tech stack when it comes to AI, and that's that platform as a service part of the stack. So very excited. And again, if you think about the AI revolution, we are today where we were when it came to the internet in the early to mid 90s. So again, we've
exactly. The early to midnight, that's where we're at right now, guys. The people that passed on Amazon are the people that are going to pass out on Clover. And guess what? We're going to win. We're going to win. Right? And this is why I made so many videos. And I showed the software that does it. And I showed you how the software was able to pick out Amazon, Walmart, Humana when they were winners back in the 90s. Right? It is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Kathy's face right now. You can see her like smile right now. She doesn't seem too happy that I interrupted her. So I think I'm going to just let her continue talking.
Just begun. And so we have miles to go. And then, of course, the applications. Tesla, not only do we have robo-taxis, but now humanoid robots. And so to give you a sense of slowly, then all at once,
Yeah, and Palantir now is about $150 stock. And we started talking about it around $6. Let's go.
certainly think with Tesla, robotaxi is this year. I know that Elon's been saying that it was going to be just around the corner for the past 6 or 7 years, and we thought it would be sooner, but it is here. That is a huge opportunity. What's happening faster than we expected is the humanoid robot opportunity. Tesla in the public markets, certainly Figure AI, Apptronic in the private markets. We own those in our venture fund. So lots of excitement around AI.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, of course, that you thought that the autonomous implementation for Tesla might have happened by now. I mean, obviously, there have been these optimistic projections. I was looking back in 5 years ago on your website. You thought that 2024 Tesla car sales would be 3.2 million as your.
So we can go ahead and continue listening to what she says, but overall, you guys got the point, right? So there's that. Let's listen to this now.
Let's start off. Stock's up big right now in the pre-market. It closed up big yesterday, about 7% on news that you acquired Ambry, a genetic testing company. What will this acquisition allow you to do?
Okay, so again, guys, this guy is the CEO of Tempus AI. Big thing here. They're talking about Nancy Pelosi, Kathy Woods, et cetera, et cetera. But big thing here, guys, is this is a big space. It's dominating. Let's go ahead and just finish it off.
I mean, Ambry's a fantastic addition to our platform. They're the leader in hereditary screening or looking at inherited risk for patients that might have cancer. And they allow us to round out our platform. We're already in that space. For those that don't know, we're focused on this category called AI-enabled diagnostics, or how do you make tests intelligent and contextualize them for the patient for whom they were ordered. And we cover a wide range. In oncology alone, we start with risk. If somebody at risk of having cancer, we do therapy selection, and then we also do monitoring and looking for early detection of disease when somebody might recur. So Ambry was a key supplier of ours, and we're super thrilled to have them as part of the company. That just really rounds out our overall offering.
All right. So Ambry was a key supplier of yours. We just mentioned some of.
And guys, listen, he's more focused on the detection of tests. Clover is a whole different model. It's trying to help primary care doctors survive, decrease medical costs. Two different things. I think Clover's market's a lot more bigger.
Your big customers in the biotech space. Pfizer's one of them, reporting earnings later today. When we're talking about AI in the healthcare space, what are we seeing? What's the impact of AI in the healthcare space overall, specifically tied to your business, of course?
I mean, I think, look, everyone is obviously very focused on generative AI, and in particular, the benefit of large language models. And there's no area where I think it's more impactful than healthcare.
What did he just say? He said everyone's basically focused on. Let's analyze what he says. Okay, this is how you determine if he's a good CEO. He says, everybody's focused on large language models, and that's fine. But the real impact, the biggest one, in my opinion, is healthcare. Okay, let's analyze that and let's replace it. Everyone's focused on making refrigeration companies, right? But the real things is what's going to come out of the refrigeration company. And honestly, the biggest thing I see coming out is Coca-Cola, because you can't get sick of Coke. I can give you 100 pounds of chocolate. You're going to get sick and throw up. But you know what? You can drink a Coke 3 times a day and you won't get sick. So I think it's a big market, right? Because you could just keep drinking that Coke, right? So you see how you can analyze someone's thoughts and be able to really break it down in first principles, right? So again, and what you'll basically find is when you go to the Reddit CLOV page, you're going to see a lot of idiots, right? Especially there's a lot of folks, even one of the mods had to basically say, dude, just if you don't like what someone says, just block them, right? But they don't do that, right? They hide in anonymity, right? People that tend to act like this, they have low reasoning skills. And I guarantee you, these are the types of people that most likely make under $50,000. And they're always going to get stuck at that level, right? And it's very hard for them to push out of the matrix, right? It is what it is, right? And I'm being harsh because, I'm trying to wake your asses up, right? There's no reason for me to leave medicine, which is an amazing career, and do this if I didn't think that this is very impactful, being able to educate you guys. Because remember, education lifted me out from being a dumbass to being where I am now, which is half of a dumbass, right? I'm still a dumbass, right? Dumbass for life, right? But the thing is it's fun. I mean, once you start like breaking down stuff, it's fun because you can poke fun at people, right? You can be, oh, look at this guy. He doesn't know how to think. I'm just kidding. It's kind of like a little Borat, right? Oh, look at you. You don't know how to think. No, I'm joking, right? But it really helps you, right? It helps you really assess is this going to help me? Yes or no? And this is how it's going to do. Is this going to help my community? Is it going to help my society? Is this going to help my family? Is this going to help me and Michelle? Is this going to help yada yada? Is it going to help you? Right? Is it going to help my patients? These are really good things, because the problem is the opioid epidemic happened because stupid doctors didn't reference the study that the OxyContin industry referenced. They referenced an editor to the journal, which is a 2 to 3 sentence thing that they referenced, and doctors didn't even cross-reference the study because they most likely did not learn how to think for themselves, which unfortunately hurt a lot of patients with addiction, and a lot of my friends that I know suffer from addiction. So it sucks. But in any case, this is a big thing. Okay, so now that you see what he's saying, and he thinks that the biggest innovation is going to happen in healthcare, well, that's why I've been pretty concentrated in our analysis of Clover, right? Let's continue. And guess what? Clover Health is already doing that with Google Vertex AI. They're already doing that. And you know what's funny? Clover has access to more patients than this guy. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, you guys didn't hear what I'm saying. Let me go ahead and listen to what this guy said.
The center of healthcare. I mean, almost every major decision that a doctor makes is made after ordering some kind of laboratory test result. And so if you can make diagnostics intelligent, you can really route patients to the optimal therapy. And that's what we're focused on. And generative AI in particular allows us to use all these new tools to essentially structure or make sense of all this disparate information and use that information, whether it's physician progress notes or pathology reports or molecular data or CAT scans or MRIs or whatever. How do you kind of put all that data together and then use it to make sure that patients are always on the optimal therapeutic path?
And that's what I was basically saying. Clover Health is already doing that. And the difference between this guy and Clover is Clover actually did the most hardest part, become an insurance company. You go talk to this guy here and you'll tell him become an insurance company. He'll look at you and say, are you freaking crazy? Right? Clover did the hardest part, right? Now they have access to physicians. Didn't we just heard from Scott? He basically said that clinical support decision tools that are used outside of the electronic healthcare record system is harder to use because it's not integrated as much. And the ones that are integrated, physicians use it more. Actually, Dr. Scott, I would like to argue with you using first principles reasoning. Dr. Scott, back in 2018, 2019, and 2020, I agree with you, sir. You're absolutely right. Yes, 100% I agree with you. But now, the big Achilles heel to your argument is OpenEvidence. OpenEvidence is not integrated within electronic healthcare record systems, but yet you see residents use it, nurse practitioners use it, medical doctors using it, physicians, et cetera, right? They all use it, but it's not integrated in the electronic healthcare record system. It's become a common practice to see the electronic healthcare record system as an archaic model, especially where I am doing my rotations using Cerner. Even Cerner's trying to fix it because Cerner is a subsidiary of Oracle, which Vivek went ahead and talked about how Oracle purchased Cerner in 2022, right? And even then that was a successful purchase. But you have doctors that are going outside of the electronic healthcare record system because they realize that these advanced AI tools actually help them. Like, for example, with OpenEvidence, number one, right? Also, number two, you have other doctors realize that doing paperwork sucks, and that these AI models that are freely generating, that are almost close to being accurate, are actually helpful in decreasing clinical burden regarding decreasing clinical administrative time, right? So this is a big thing, guys, right? So, and I would say if you go to a community hospital, maybe they're not really going to be using OpenEvidence because those are old doctors and maybe they might still be practicing medicine from the 80s. I'm not being facetious. Sometimes it's the case, but it's okay, right? It's not okay, but it is what it is. But what I'm trying to basically show you and teach you is that if you go to an academic hospital in which which I'm a part of, you're going to start, you see everybody using it. And these academic hospitals are breeding academic residents. And these academic residents are going to end up going to community hospitals. And what are they going to do? They're going into these areas, learning how to use AI and incorporating it into their workflow. But here's the thing. ChatGPT took the whole world by a storm, to where even now community doctors are like trying to say, what AI tools are out there so I can be better? So now I want you to take that ideology and take that thinking, and I want you to apply it to Counterpart Health and Clover Assistant. Before, Clover had to pay their doctors to use the software. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they still have to do that because it is a bunch of clicks to train the model, but it's gone to a point where it's become so helpful that doctors are like, please give me something. Please give me something to make my life easier, right? So and there it is. I don't use OpenEvidence yet, right? And, I need to try it out. Again, it's tough. Try it out. See, you're an ophthalmologist, more for, primary care, emergency medicine. Those types of folks tend to want to use it a little more, I would say. Primary care, internal medicine. But try it out, see what you like. I'd say ophthalmology is a cross branch between, ophthalmology is not that difficult. There's only a few drugs you have to memorize. It's really procedure based, really not too many medications to give in ophthalmology. And the management things are, I would say pretty, that's why it's one of the road specialties, right? Road meaning, road to happiness, radiology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, and dermatology. But the thing is, the big thing here, guys, is before Clover struggled with incorporating people to use their AI to where they had to build an insurance company. And now they forced it, they trained it, they have the data. Data is key. And now people are not only wanting to use it, they're increasing membership for MA, but now people are wanting to adopt it faster. So they might not even have to become an insurance company anymore. Does that make sense? Which is why I think potentially the revenues from the SaaS business may actually start to supersede the revenue of MA to a point where they might have to sell their MA insurance business if their AI becomes huge. As of right now, the MA serves as a defense mechanism to basically say, hey, Humana, United, if you don't partner with us, that's fine. We'll just take your market share. We'll just eat you alive. But if you want to go ahead and partner with us, that's fine. That'll give us an opportunity to exit MA so you can get the benefits and not us. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. And Kevin talked about that in his podcast, right? When he was basically saying, there are some things I can't tell the CEO of Medicare Advantage because of the things I have to do. Like, for example, potentially talking to healthcare insurers that are using Counterpart Health. Let's continue.
And that the promise of that is enormous in terms of both helping patients live better, live longer lives, but also reducing the incredible waste in our U.S. healthcare system.
So Eric, important to know, you're a serial entrepreneur. You started a number of.
So again, all the serial. Okay, so he talks about waste, which is a big thing. What is Clover Health doing? Decreasing waste. This guy here, again, analyze how people talk. This guy's next question is: you are a serial entrepreneur. You are, have started a lot of companies, right? Listen.
Of notable businesses and founded them. At the same time, you're talking about acquiring businesses while you're still an unprofitable company that just went public last year. We talked about.
Right. So again, he's talking about one thing. And then this guy is basically, let me give you an example, right? This guy from the CEO of Tempus is basically saying, B and A and D is equivalent to DAC. And then this guy comes in, you've made a lot of companies in the past, this 2 and 0 and this little angle there, yada, yada, yada. Again, it's all bullshit, right? This guy's this guy is like my crush. He doesn't know how to think, right? He doesn't understand how to ask the next logical question to extend the methodological proof to find reality, which is why I'm telling you, you got to see the future before the future arrives, right? No one thought Palantir was going to be where it's at. No one thought Amazon, Apple, Tesla was going to be where it's at. But if you use first principles thinking, you can basically get ahead, right? You can see it, and then look at this guy, how he's looking at him. He's looking at him like, you are freaking stupid, right? But it's okay. It's fine, right? These are talking heads. They're not made. They can't think for themselves, because if they did, then they would be basically doing their own ventures, right? It is what it is. Let's continue. I mean, I'm harsh, but again, I'm teaching you how to basically spot the bullshit. In fact, let me see if like the comment section spot the bullshit. Again, nothing, right? It is what it is, right? It's hard. All right, let's continue and let's talk about OpenEvidence, since we talked about it a lot.
The AI startup OpenEvidence is raising a fresh round of capital from Sequoia at $1 billion valuation. It's the latest big funding round in AI healthcare, a slice of the market that's catching more investors' attention and may represent a positive way AI can contribute to the world. Okay, Rooney.
Exactly, right. It's catching investors' attention. Well, hey man, it's had my attention, and what you're starting to see now is money starting to trickle back into AI healthcare. And guess what? We have proofed ourselves and structured ourselves as an AI platform. Okay. In fact, let's go ahead and prove that statement by going ahead and actually proving it and going here. Value-based care at the point of care, the world's leading AI-powered physician and enablement platform. Okay. Again, there it is, right? There's Duke and all these other places, right? Obviously the website's pretty basic for me, but it's okay. Right? Palantir is really cool. They really have all this, all this stuff here. It's pretty funny. It's very like look at this, right? But again, they, what's his name? Alex Karp has a lot of experience with the CIA, so he's so he kind of knows how to do his thing, right? So but the thing is, that's what we are, AI powered physician enablement platform, and now you can start to see money's pile in on that. So let's go ahead and continue.
Kate Rooney has the news exclusively in today's Tech Check. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Carl, good morning. So healthcare and AI is really seen as the antidote to some of the doom around this technology. There is, of course, real worry about AI safety and some of the nefarious uses for this tech as it becomes more powerful. But investors do see a silver lining here in healthcare, a way to potentially cure diseases and make burnt out doctors more productive. Startup OpenEvidence is working on that burnout problem with a chatbot for doctors. It's sort of like ChatGPT in some ways. The company says a quarter of U.S. physicians are already using it. The company raised a new round from Sequoia at that $1 billion valuation. We did break that news this morning.
That's it. A quarter of physicians use it already. What does that tell you? If a quarter of physicians use it already, imagine the quarter of physicians that are going to end up basically using it for counterpart. Just imagine the use spaces here, okay?
Founder Daniel Nadler pointed out how much higher the bar is for AI accuracy in clinical settings. Their model was trained on only peer-reviewed medical journals. It was not even connected to the internet when it was trained, which helps the trust factor.
Garbage in, garbage out, gold in, gold out. And if you ask it a question and it's trained on the sort of apex medical journal in the world, such as New England Journal.
Yeah, in New England Journal of the World, it's trained on actual literature. There's no like nefarious, bullcrap here. But let me just look at Daniel Nadler here. Let me look a little bit into him here. Interesting. One mutual connection. Interesting. Let's see. What's his thing? So he's a PhD. That's his education. 2 years, right? And it's backed by Sequoia. And all it does is this. It's not a, imagine it's not a healthcare plan. It's not, it's just and it's already $1 billion valuation, right? So money, it's valued at $1 billion and it has no revenue. It's not profitable. Clover's profitable. Are you starting to see where we're at right now? It's pretty impressive, guys, right? And by the way, OpenEvidence, I don't pay for it. OpenEvidence, its costs, they have not asked me. Actually, that's pretty cool. What is this? I've never used this. What is this? Whoa, it even asks questions? Oh, now that's cool, guys. Hold on, let me think. That's pretty. I'm sorry. I'm just clicking around. I might use this for step 3. Here. Let me. I've taken all these again. Let me. Yeah. Let's do a diabetes question. I'm curious. Oh man, this is a long question. Jesus. So we got glucose is high, A1C. There's a little test taking strategies you can use. Interesting. Okay, all right. So big thing here, 20-year-old, increased thirst, a lot of urination, past 3 months. He's been losing a lot of weight. His BMI is 18.5. This to me doesn't look like type 2 diabetes. It looks like type 1 diabetes. I'm not going to, it's saying serum C peptide levels because maybe he's a college student. If she was a nurse, then I would say, this one. But I would say, this is me looking at this quickly. I'm just going to, all right, there it is. Correct. Woo! Yeah. So let's explain. Let's see the explanation. Holy crap. Look at that. Type 1 diabetes, like what we said. Wow. Oh, you guys are not seeing what I'm showing. I'm showing this question and I answered it correctly here. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was using OpenEvidence, but this, I was trying to figure out how much it cost. How much does OpenEvidence cost? OpenEvidence is free for verified US clinicians. Are you freaking kidding me? It's free. It's literally free. They don't even charge anything. It's free. It's literally free because I'm using it and it's free. I'm not paying anything in it. Maybe because I was like, well, maybe because I'm a medical student. I was like, no, it's free for everybody. It's free for verified doctors and makes money through advertisement, just like Google does. But I mean, how much money does it really make through advertisement? I mean, yeah, maybe it might make some money. I'm trying to figure out this is funding. It might make some money through through the pharmacy companies, but I'm just curious to see. I know OpenEvidence makes money through advertisement, but can you go ahead and search the web to figure out what is their revenue from this advertisement? Go ahead and search the web and figure this out for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out a number here, right? Because I guarantee, let's see, according to OpenEvidence, its advertising revenue is projected to be $50 million, which is the basis of the current evaluation. That's pretty funny, actually. So they're thinking 3.5 billion, and that's 70 times the projected annual revenue of 50 million. Yeah, I find that pretty funny because they're just doing advertisement, and then that's $50 million. So that's kind of funny, you know what I mean? And it's not profitable yet. It's giving out its software for free. And the big argument here is, will this be integrated into Counterpart in the future, or Cerner, et cetera, et cetera? Going back to our triangle, we have a couple people say talk is cheap, so we short Clove. And you can see we're going ahead and explaining that triangle BAD is equivalent to DAC. We have people saying, well, there's a 2 there and a W there, and there's an S right there. So does that mean we short it? Right? Again, guys, at the end of the day, it's how people think. And sometimes people have crippled thinking. It's fine. It is what it is, right? What can I say? It is what it is. So here's this guy. Okay, now very quickly, let's go ahead and let's exit the screen here. Let's share the normal screen, shall we? And let's go ahead and do this. And let's go ahead and type in Clove real quick. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly analyst price targets. Again, just to remind you, that's how it is. Beautiful platform. Let's go ahead and generate our hedge fund style report. Very beautiful, elegant, very professional report. Let's go ahead and generate that. Generates it very quickly. And bada bing, bada boom, right? Goes ahead, pulls in all the information, generates it. So July 15, it says in 50 days, $3.13 went down, given the stock went down. So it's saying it's still, it's still a 5% increase. So I still think it's going to go up. Let's go again. You see how you see how it's just consistently changing based off of the data, and it gives a Monte Carlo projection. So about 25,000 projection models over that. So that's pretty impressive. You could go ahead and figure out, see what levels of support and resistance. So it looks like 293 looks good, 287, 293, 333 looks like a bastard, right? 333 is a tough one. 297. Then you got 321, 333 as a resistance, but then 297, then 294, 291, and 286. So these are levels of support. These are the blue ones are Fibonacci's. This is our AI powered support line, resistance line. So not too bad here, guys. And then base $3 for Monte Carlo. This is just for technical analysis. It has nothing to do with intrinsic value. Just like I always said, I go ahead and I talk about the triangle support system, and someone says, well, your price target used to be this. And again, two different things, right? People's minds are scattered brain. People's minds are not structured, and we can make money off of that because people that are very confident at peak stupidity are ripe for destruction of their wealth. Please repeat that again and rewind it and listen to what I just said. It's very important. So investor holdings has spiked up. Everything's going in the right directions. New positions have spiked up. And you can look at the past 25 years, we've never had these many institutional holdings in a long time. A number of F shares now is basically going up. I'm very excited, guys. I mean, we're all moving in the right direction, right? So we'll see what ends up happening as we, move on to, further SEC 13F filings. But it's funny, we may even stabilize. Who knows in the next quarter? But once August 5th happens and they report profitability, you're going to see a sludge of institutional investors come online. And then that's going to be very funny with the stock price, right? And then this is kind of the analysis of revenue. Wall Street's thinking $3 billion by 2029, a little over $3 billion, actually. They're thinking above $3 billion. So that's about, double the revenue. Double the revenue we're making this year on average. But, it's funny because I think it's going to be a lot higher because, again, Wall Street's always sleeping on this. For net income, they're expecting profitability in 2028 and 2029. So you can see that they're no longer hiding this. They're no longer hiding that Clover can be profitable. But what they did is they obscured the data. They said that 2026 is going to be break even and 2027 is going to be break even. And what they did is they said they gave a big number for 2027 and they gave a low number for 2027 to make it look like it's break even on the average, which I find funny because that's them basically playing games with us. And then once I started calculating EPS, they're like, what? He knows how to do that. But regardless, just like that dog that's, on the boat, at the end of the day, you see the red line. Screw the noise. Look at the red line. The red line shows we're going to be profitable. Okay. They think 2028, 2029. I think it's going to be a year or two earlier. And then watch next year, they're going to go ahead, revise statements, and it's going to look like they were right all along. When in reality, this is the reality. They don't think Clover is going to be profitable in 2028. That's bullshit. They're wrong. But see how much they look like that's going to be profitable. Now let's go ahead and let's just say 160 million. Now let me show you something. 160 million divided by 508. That's 31 pennies per earnings, right? Earnings per share for the whole year. Now the price to earnings for Palantir is around 620. In fact, I think it's like higher now. So if we take 620, and if we say if Clover can achieve 20% of the price to earnings, if AI is going to be the next big thing, that's 124 price to earnings for Clover. So if we take 0.31 times only 20% of the 620, you take that times 124, that's $39 stock price. But again, that's at $160 million of profitability. I think net income is going to be a lot higher than that. I think we're going to get to a point where, we're going to be able to achieve that a lot faster. But you can see, 39 looks pretty sexy. That's going to change a lot of lives. But, I think like, hey, if we get like 1.6 billion from the Humana Molina deal, let's say, and if we multiplied that, and let's say 25% of that goes to net income, I think it's going to be a lot higher, but let's say 25%, that's $400 million. Okay. Now let's just be humble. Let's do 20%. Let's go ahead and add the, 160. That's $480 million of potential net income, I think, that you're going to see by 2029 and 2030. You divide that by the outstanding shares, that's an earnings of 0.94. You multiplied that by 124, which is 20% of the price to earnings of Palantir. I'm not multiplying it by 600. I'm multiplying it by only 20% of that. I think it could be higher. You go that and you see $117 stock price, right? So what that will basically go ahead and do, that'll basically push me up to $50 million, right? 50 million. And then I can go ahead and do the beautiful, wheel, and I can make 1.5 million a month times by 12, make 18 million a year. I pay 40% taxes. I take about 10 million, right? I divide by $400,000, get some single family homes. That's about 27 homes. Let's say I do that for 5 years. That's 135 homes. Each home is around $1,800 rent. That's $243,000 pure real estate, right? But remember, I have 135 homes, right? 135 homes. Let's say the price of the homes don't go up, right? Well, it will. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say it stays the same. That's $54 million in 5 years, right? Let's say we do it for 10 years, right? That's $108 million. And let's say, we'll account for covered calls and cash secured puts disruption. So we'll say 75% of that. That's about 81 million. Let's say there's a recession. So we go in and pull out 70% of that through HELOCs. We got 56 million cash. Stocks are down during a recession. Interest rates are low. So we got $56 million on a low interest rate. We go in, we buy stocks that in a recession that we can essentially 3x, then that's $170 million, right? 170 million, right? So now let's see, 170 million, which with your original 80 million of real estate plus your 50 million of stocks from Clover, let's say, that's $300 million. And that's one recession cycle. You can also, are you starting to see the overall projection here? So again, if you would like to short, my friend, it's a free country. Please do it. I would love it, right? We need people like you, right? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right. So if you'd like to join this community, which, you've seen the proof, we have the data. We've shown you the proof, right? We've shown you the isosceles triangle proof. We've worked it out. And, shout out to all of our lifetime access members who've achieved a total net worth growth of exceeding $45 million, right? This is a platform you don't want to sleep on. It's all data driven, right? We teach you how to think. We teach you how to think for yourself. We teach you how to think to be able to benefit you, your family, and your loved ones, et cetera, et cetera. Coupon code SAS, $1,200 off. Lifetime access. I'll see you on the next one.